Hello everybody, this is Anna. I am just wanting to take some time to share something really personal with you today and hope that it can help with other people's healing. There's a really big eclipse that's happening actually just in a few hours now. We're not going to be able to see it on the western side of our planet, but this one is really, it's the end of a trifecta. It's representative. It's a partial solar eclipse, which is a really beautiful balance of both the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And in my process of healing, which has been rife with ups and downs, we'll say, I know that for me, there's lots of different things that have needed to be healed, but there's one that I want to talk about today, in spite of the fact that it is a little bit of a sensitive subject for some people, because of the fact that, well, for most people, because of the fact that, from what I understand, it is one of the few things that just almost every single culture has some shame feelings attached to, and I genuinely believe that that's something that is worthy of being healed. I know that some people disagree with this line of thinking, but I just know that it was really, really healing for me to recognize some of these things. So first I want to say that this is about empowerment and healing. This is about transmuting feelings that have been really difficult and painful to get throughout a life. So just know now that any potentially like degrading comments or anything, I will just send you love and light and block that friendship, because that's not what this is about. This is not opening myself up for being dishonored and allowing you to also dishonor yourself, which is what that would be doing. This is about personal empowerment and allowing other people to learn from something that has really, really helped me. So I want to say that first, and also I'd like to say, if this is something that's just simply too sensitive for you to hear about, please do both. Oh, there's a fly in my face. Please do both of us a favor, both yourself and I a favor, and just turn off the video and know that that's not something you ever have to listen to on any public format. And I love you, and no judgment, nothing. But if you proceed to listen to the rest of this video, you're going to hear a pretty blunt explanation or a pretty blunt conversation, and just know that you're entering into that upon your own free will. So I do want to show you this gorgeous red background, this gorgeous red sun. It's ridiculously pretty. I know that with the cell phone camera, it's you can't exactly see how red it is, but you are getting this gorgeous glare that we've kept getting over the last few days. It's so pretty. And I just felt like being out in nature would be a good place to talk about this. That's also been really healing for me over these last couple of years. And so I'd like to spend some time talking about masturbation. And masturbation is something that's a really sensitive subject, culturally, really worldwide. Some people, that shame associated with masturbation can come in just limitless ways. It really can. It can come from parents, it can come from organizations, it can come from religions, it can come from school, it can come from neighbors. No judgment, no anything. I'm not trying to say anyone's bad for the way that it happened, because it just is a statement as to how they got coded too. But ultimately, it is one of those things worldwide where most people have had a moment in their childhood where they were just truly, truly embarrassed about the fact that that was something that they had given into, or that just learning the how bad it is, or whatever their reason was, just associating a lot of shame with it. And for some people, the shame and the pain associated with that just leads to a lot of really, really, really sad feelings. And so I want to talk a little bit about that, because really it is not something that's worthy of any level of shame. I want to talk about the sexual energy that we have, and the fact that you can do actual transmutation with it. It is sacred, okay? Your body is sacred. It is a sacred gift from the universe, and it is within itself a universe. And learning to love yourself should incorporate in some way, shape, or form learning to really love yourself. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to masturbate. That doesn't even mean you have to have sex. Some people choose celibacy as a path towards spiritual growth, spiritual evolution, the evolution of consciousness, even for sexual alchemy. But there are many different ways to achieve it, and it's called many different things. Sexual tantra, ancient Egyptian sex magic. It's called Kundalini sex magic. It's called just making love. I think that's probably the best way to put it, is really deeply making love. But the energy associated with this can be used for purposes of healing, of growth, of really getting connected with the divine. There's very few things that you can experience in a physical body that are more pleasurable than the pleasure associated with sexual pleasure, and there's nothing shameful about that. So certainly when we start to associate shame with that at a very, very young age, it can affect a lot of feelings that we have about sex in general, because we just feel bad about that. We got embarrassed or whatever. You know, I know for me personally, when I was very, very young, so young, definitely way younger than 5, I remember actually doing it in front of some people and not knowing in any way, shape, or form that what I was doing was what I was doing, but they laughed at me, and I remember thinking that was really weird that they laughed at me. And then I remember finding out how just horrible what I had done was, and when I found that out, I mean, I was so much more embarrassed. And then came the way worse thing, which was just the amount of shame I continued to feel after that, as I continued to like it. So that just made it a whole lot worse. I enjoyed it, and I thought that was something that was just so shameful. So I know that almost everyone has their own version of that, their own different way that they've experienced feeling kind of bad about that. If you haven't, that's so awesome, and I just want to say, like, more power to your parents and more power to everybody around you, and also and no shame to parents that have anything, but for those of you that never have had any kind of feelings of shame or anything associated with that, I think even you know that you're kind of in the minority there, and that's really beautiful. That's a huge gift that you have to not have any feelings of that associated with it. I know that for me, my process of healing has not included a lot of masturbating, but it has definitely included a lot of going back and healing that inner shame I felt. Going back to that inner child and reminding her that it's okay, that it was not a bad thing, and maybe even helping her to feel like she can grow up a little bit by doing that sometimes. For me, that has been very healing. I don't expect that that's going to be everybody's process, but I do understand that nobody can do the process of sexual transmutation. Oh, I hear some people in the background. I'm not probably going to talk about this for a second. 1 second. There's this really cute couple over there taking engagement photos, and all I can think is that maybe at some point they're going to want some sexual transmutation advice. Anyway, I just want to go back to what I was talking about. So you can go back to your inner child and really help them to feel safe. There's a lot of different ways to do this, but when it comes to falling in love with yourself, falling in love with who you are from the inside out, my personal experience, especially because of how much shame I felt with masturbation when I was a kid, my personal experience is definitely that it was very healing for me. And I find that it would probably be for a lot of other women, a lot of other men, a lot of other humans all over the world. I'm not saying that it has to be a requirement of your spiritual growth. I'm just saying it can be a really fun part of it if you choose to allow that to be a part of your spiritual growth. I do want to point out really quickly that my husband is here with me, supporting me while I do this. So, it's kind of an interesting subject matter, but it is a really important one, and it's one that I feel like most people could really stand to heal. And I feel like for me, as I've been trying to heal my divine masculine aspects, for me personally, what I was really kind of open to these divine feminine aspects, but I was really having to come into a place of confidence. I've had to face a lot of fears these last couple of years, and actually a lot of them I faced kind of publicly, which in and of itself was facing a huge fear for me. This is a huge fear for me. I was ready to puke on my way up here, but it wasn't a fear for my heart. My heart knew that this was something that I need to talk about because of what my experience with it was, and I feel like a lot of people may resonate with the benefits of healing that for the purposes of for whether it's for spiritual growth or not, just for feeling better about your life experiences and what you've gone through and how you've earned who you've become. They're coming in. I'm going to pause it for one quick second. All right, our new friends just pulled away. In any case, for purposes of, wait. Sorry, they had dropped a cell phone or something. But anyway, like I said, I felt a lot of shame associated with it. And as I've been trying to heal my own inner divine masculine, I've had to go back and heal a lot of things. I feel like, because of the fact that I felt so much guilt associated with the fact that I did that as a child, and I liked it, and it was horrible inside to me that I did like it. I felt terrible about it. When some sexual abuse did happen to me, I felt like I deserved it. And that's terrible. And I know I'm not the only person that felt that way. I also know that that's not everybody's experience, but I know that most people have some kind of an experience that they had that made them feel a dense frequency associated with that. And even to this day, some people in their adulthood and things like that. And so now I do want to say, just for added benefit of the purposes of sexual transmutation, when we're talking about masturbation, I don't want to shame anyone who wants to just go ahead and tickle their bean or masturbate whenever or however, well, privately, but just understand that that's not how you do it for purposes of increasing your vibration. And there's a lot of different ways to do this. There's a lot of different ways to research this that either don't cost money, or there's some ridiculously extraordinary teachers that are very, very mature in their approach to teaching you about the process of sexual alchemy. But just understand that while it's not necessarily bad to do that, there is a certain waste. There's an actual waste that you're missing out on the incredible benefit that comes from doing it with a level of consciousness, a level of genuinely trying to increase your power or increase your vibration or increase however you want to look at it. But either way, no matter what, I just want to say that people shouldn't feel ashamed of it, and that there's ways to, in a really, really loving and totally vibrationally above board way to heal the pain and the dense feelings associated with that, especially if that's something that stems back all the way to your childhood. So I sure do wish you all love and light. I wish you luck in your transmutation process, whatever that looks like, whether you choose that with anyone. Like I said, there's a lot of different ways to achieve similar things, but they are different facets of the same jewel, and you can accomplish really, really miraculous things one way or the other when you allow yourself to go into a higher vibration. And it's hard to do that when you're feeling shame about things, especially things that you never should have felt any shame about to begin with. So just want to share this message with love and light. Wish you all a wonderful eclipse. Know that this is probably one of the most terrified I've ever been. I remember what I was going to say a couple minutes ago. I'm feeling a little bit of a icky feeling in my tummy, because I know that this is requiring a certain level of courage, and that's a third chakra thing, but my heart feels great. This is how I know that this is the right thing for me to be talking about, for me to be sharing. I know that there's other people that can benefit from this and that can learn from it, because I know that my heart wouldn't feel good about sharing this message if it wasn't the right message to share right now. I do know that my tummy might feel a little icky, but that's because I'm transmuting something that I'm a little bit scared about. And that's okay. I know that I'm going to feel great when all is said and done. I'm going to go home and meditate for a few hours. And I am going to know that at about 3 a.m. my time, there's just an awesome eclipse that's happening that is, I think, kind of symbolic of the things that I've been really devoting my life to for the last couple of years. So I'm going to go home and I'm going to take that in, and I'm going to try to just let that energy infuse. And I'm going to be sending the whole world some love and light with my entire heart tonight. And hope that whatever shame you may have felt for anything you have in your life, you will be willing to let that go for the sake of your own heart and your own growth. Love and light. Bye.